Training camp for the Eagles is a little bit less than a week and a half to go, and the veterans report on the 28th, while the rookies report on the 25th, giving them a little bit of a mini camp. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's get started with today's article, The State of the Franchise. What's up, it's your boy Cintron, come back to another analysis video, and I kid you not, that's my real name. It's been a while, I've been on vacation. Not that you care, you weren't even watching though. Anyways, the article for today, by Adam Rank. Shout out to you, boy, and his dearly departed compadre from the NFL Network about a year ago, almost a year and a half ago now, I think. State of the NFL, state of the 2023 Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts and co. appear poised to avoid Super Bowl hangover. And I agree with that assessment. I think at the very least we're winning the division, which punches us a ticket to the playoffs, which means we would be back in the playoffs. But, we obviously have our sights set on higher and grander stages, but we need that ticket first, to qualify and for the dance, or take a chance to get to the big dance. And I think we'll get there. But let's analyze why. So 2022 rewind, one high for this from last season. Yeah, basically the whole year. We won the NFC, and we went to the Super Bowl for the first time since winning it all 5 years previously. 5 years previously. And yeah, it was a great year, but didn't get the ultimate goal, the jewelry, winning the Super Bowl. So that was a big disappointment. Anytime you get there, you want to win it. And I've witnessed 3 Super Bowls that the Eagles have played in, and we're 1-4 overall. Hey, that being said, man, I feel great for about our chances in 2023. No longer thinking about 2022. There are some things to reflect upon, but more so leaning towards what we can glean from. And, reflecting back on all of, things that didn't happen, didn't go our way, that's moot point right now. We have new guys in the building, guys that are trying to get better, that are returning to the building, and people that are looking to build upon. Coalesce those two together and build towards another momentous season. So we'll see. But one low from last year, yeah, of course, losing the Super Bowl. Like I just said, you don't want to get there and not win it. And there were some mitigating circumstances, of course, field conditions and the D coordinator where his mind was at the time. But that's all water under the bridge right now, because like I said, these guys are building towards 2023 and 2022. While that you want to springboard and like I said, learn and reflect upon the things that you can learn from and glean. You can't be caught up in looking at the past, because that'll get you that'll get you lost and get you losses. So anyways, 2023 VIPs, quarterback Jalen Hurts. Yeah, man, he played out of his mind last year. He just elevated. He went into 2022 as a question mark, and he came out the answer, like he's AI or some pun intended. But yeah, fewer guys had this, a bigger turnaround. I don't even know who I could think about, that made a jump like that last year. But yeah, man, it was amazing to see, his transformation. And I'm sure the guys in the building saw that coming. But us fans were most pleasantly surprised with jump and leap he made last year. But we're hoping he can make maybe not a similar sizable leap, but another progressive step towards becoming a more complete quarterback, and working on his strengthening his strengths and working on his weaknesses, which he knows, he's well aware of. He's said they're on his list, but he's not going to reveal them to us. So yeah, like I said, projected 2023 MVP Hurts. I'm not gonna say that, I'm sure there's some guys that are gonna rise up out of the woodwork to surprise us, kind of like Jalen did last year. I would say, because if you say you saw that season coming, you're lying, you're capping. But if he could take another step and actually win the award this year, yeah, that would mean he had another banner year, and or he increased his proficiency from last season. So it made it undeniable, because missing those 2 games, it definitely did hurt him, not just in production, but with him not being on the field, I mean, I would say the case even more that he need to be MVP because look at the way we played without him at the helm. So, but no, hoping he can have just a year where he goes without injury. But he's typically missed a couple games each and every year. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, man, MVP is it's a lofty goal. There's a handful of guys that have won it several times. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Mahomes now. So I mean, add Hurts to that pantheon wouldn't hurt, but he's not really concerned with that award. He wants to win the ultimate award and get the jewelry for him and the 53 men. All right, new face to know Jalen Carter. Definitely, this guy coming in, he comes with some level of controversy because of how things ended with his career in college. But that being said, he's hungry coming into the league. He dropped to what he was being talked about as maybe the top overall prospect and potentially going on number 1 overall. Definitely top 5, but he slipped out of top 5, nearly dropping to number 10 or so. Who's to say the Bears would have took him if Philadelphia didn't? But number 9. That was humbling. That was a humbling experience for him, and he had to have been fired up. He is, and we know that. He's talked about it a little bit and said that he's coming in. Bringing his lunch pail, keeping his head down. He has had a very quiet offseason here in Philadelphia. Applied himself, put his head down and got to work. And the talent he has, just speaks for itself. The size the guy brings, the pass rushing potential. I like him to fill in at Javon Hargrave's spot just because he projects as a better run stopper than Javon Hargrave. And yes, he was the guy who gave us 11 sacks last year. One of the 4 guys, record-setting task where no one had ever had 4 guys, 3 guys. The New York Giants had that with O.C. Umenyiora, Justin Tuck, and Michael Strahan. I think in 2007, I want to say. But it had never been done by 4 guys, and we did it last year. And he's one of those guys, and especially bringing pressure from the interior. That's nothing to sneeze at. That being said, he had a 49.5 run defense grade, which is piss poor, and much more than getting sacks. I would rather stop the run so the team has to lean on the pass, and then you can unleash all those guys. And I don't need my interior guy to be the premier pass rusher, but if he can give a push, great. And I think Jordan Davis will play some of that role this year, despite him being a typical run stopper, gapper, leaving holes for everyone else. But he has the potential, like he showed in the Redskins game, 14 rushes, 14 rushes, and he got like 4 pressures. He has that potential. He just has the size and the speed, and other guys around him. So, he doesn't have to come in here and do it all. He's not being counted on to, contribute greatly. He's a piece, a cog in the machine, and we have a well-oiled one here in Philadelphia. So, the guy coming hungry. He has great mentors to learn from. Fletcher Cox and his previous, his idol at Georgia, Jordan Davis, is here as well, so he can provide a mentorship role to him, and so the other guys that are the dogs, Philadelphia dogs that are here in Philly. So great environment for the kid. Breakout star Jordan Davis. I mean, he could very well do that. He's going to his 2nd year, and most guys make the leap from their first year to 2nd year. The biggest leap that they make in development. And for D tackles, it usually takes about 3 years for them to make an impact, and maybe he can speed up that clock a little bit, but he has the requisite talent. The guy runs a 4.78 at 330 pounds. 6'6" guy. Just I don't want to see that coming at me. That's monstrous. I just deem myself up. But he is going to. He's irreplaceable in this roster because no one has his size, his dimensions, or can bring the ability that he has to this defense. And we count on him to, like I said, make holes, for the linebackers to shoot the gaps, and for running backs to run into and the stuff to run. Play great run defense, but He's irreplaceable. Maybe we can our backup D tackle Noah Ellis. He can shadow as this guy, but really, he provides something that no one else can uniquely on this defense. And he was, learning on the fly and was gaining ground. Actually, last year until the Pittsburgh game where he sprained his ankle and his trajectory kind of curtailed after that. He fell out. But I mean, it's just difficult to bounce back after an injury and then have the same impact. Especially brought in guys like Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph to fill in his role, and he kind of he curtailed off with his development, but he's back on it and he's hungry. Another guy who just has great drive, and he's able to teach some of the parts of defense now to other guys and be that mentor to guys like Jalen Carter coming in this year. And it's interesting to see what he's gonna provide, but I'll be watching him very closely to see the leap he makes, because man, he could give us a great foundational piece to play with here in Philadelphia. I mean, we have put a premium on the line, and we drafted in back-to-back years guys on that D tackle, and we show that we're really invested in the trenches. How Rosen has proved that, and it's something that's paid off for us traditionally. So I'm interested to see how Jordan will maintain that tradition. All right, the brain trust for the Eagles: Nick Sirianni, head coach; general manager Howie Roseman; offensive coordinator Brian Johnson; defensive coordinator Sean Desai; and special teams coordinator Michael Clay. So all of these guys, they're a good assembly. Nick Sirianni, he's got to be one of the top 10 coaches. I would say, I don't know, until repeat performance, I could see people saying not top 5, but for me, top 5 just for what he did. Based it being a year-to-year league, what he did last year. But that being said, I'd say top 10. You got to at least give him that. He can be annoying and in your face and wears his heart on his sleeve, but the guy, he's the offensive brainchild behind the offensive system, and he's collaborating with guys like Shane Steichen on the left, but he has a big hand in putting together that offensive game plan and learning defense's weaknesses, attacking, getting the guys revved up, focused, and keeping them sharp, and watching their bodily function, bodily maintenance, and keeping them ready. Challenging them like he does with Quez. He knows what buttons to push, for this guy and that guy. So not just guys on offense, but the overall roster. Being the head coach, he took a step back from play calling, and it just served to benefit this team. So looking forward to seeing how he leads again in 2023 with that feather in his cap of having been a Super Bowl head coach, but now can he be a Super Bowl winning head coach? That's the challenge. And Howie Roseman, the guy who's buying the groceries, he does a great job as a shopper. He brings the coupons. He knows where the discounts are. He knows what items to splurge on, to spend more on, how to budget. He does everything great with the roster. And he has great usage of that credit card. So the salary cap is phenomenally, in place with him in charge. So he just does a great job drafting, getting advice from his department, scouting, knowing kind of when to shop around for the roster, when to where to poke and prod, and bring in guys. He's just been a masterclass in balancing out, and rarely does he lose. He's been winning trades and getting draft capital, you name it, man. This guy just has it. So he's top 5. He's easily top 5 GM in the league. Down to our offensive coordinator Brian Johnson. He was a quarterbacks coach last year, but him and Jalen have known each other for 20 years, and they've had a relationship, and especially in the past couple of years with him being the quarterbacks coach, and he knows Jalen in and out, and he knows what he likes, and he's gonna be able to elevate this offense, I believe, with his take, his stamp on it, and how he sees it. I think he's going to look to incorporate the running backs more, different facets, and we're going to have more of a platoon with Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell, DeAndre Swift, and Rashad Penny at the helm. And, divvying up carries for those guys is going to be on his plate, and the running backs coach and um, offensive game pass coordinator. I think Jeff Stoutland is at that. So also our offensive line coach. So they're gonna have a great challenge in scheming up things, but trust them to. They're not gonna look to overhaul everything we did last year, but going to look to optimize and to add and to assess and say, hey, what can we make better? What can we make more proficient? What are some things that were negatives or things that we did too much last year? How can we, evolve and bring in, build on packages and gadget plays and all, the works. So it's going to be interesting to see what his take on offense will be. It brings us to defensive coordinator Sean Desai. He's new coming in, but he has a great amount of toys, better than his 2021 season with the Bears when he had a guy like Robert Quinn have damn near 20 sacks and leading. I think he led the league that year. And but he has more talent with this defense and good boundary corners. Talent at safety. The decent amount of what's necessary, what's needed. The requirement, the basic bare minimum requirements at the very least at linebacker and edge rusher and interior. He just has an embarrassment of riches. So it'll be interesting to see how he employs the defense and what's going to be his calling card, because he's spoken generalities. Wants to play tough and wants to take away the ball, wants to be fierce, wants to be a behemoth on defense and hit people and make a mark. But how is he going to do it? That's the question. So. The three things I always talk about, mention like almost every video that I speak on defense, is just how is he going to make adjustments, how is he going to disguise and blitz. Like, so if he can do those things, he'll have already beat out his predecessor who just could not adjust. He's a one-trick pony, tried and true. The last piece here, Michael Clay, special teams coordinator. This is one of the most shaky because our special teams were the one unit bringing on our overall team last year, but that being said, they entrusted it to Michael Clay, and he has a great deal of trust with them. For whatever reason, we get to have to roll with that and trust them, but we'll see how that goes and how that plays out. But it'll be interesting, if things don't go well, if they don't improve from last year, if heads will roll in his department. But also they have a big decision to make to go with the tried and true and so-so to okay can be in spots above average veteran Aaron Sitboss at punter, or Ty Zettner, the rookie, come in who can also in a pinch kick at place kicker like he did at Kansas State. So that'll be maybe a fierce battle. Thus far, in OTAs, the veteran is winning, but we'll see if the rookie is able to glean from him and take his spot. All right, roster reshuffling. The guys we brought in, Jalen Carter, we spoke about him a little bit earlier. Phenomenal guy. I mean, maybe one of the best three talents in the draft. Nolan Smith, a guy who's greatly going to contribute, come in a rotation right now, maybe at number 4 off the edge. He has some great guys, and his body and build make Hassan Reddick at his position who we can learn from and glean from. Tyler Steen, fighting for maybe a starting spot at right guard right now with last year's second-round draft pick. Cam Jurgens, Sidney Brown, who might be battling for a starting safety spot with either Terrell Edmonds or Reed Blankenship. Keely Ringo, and he isn't even signed yet, so his development most likely is going to be stalled, and he's not going to play a factor. More like the rookies last year redshirting at corner, so he'll be on the roster, but maybe inactive. Tanner McKee, we'll see if he even makes the roster, maybe the practice squad. Moro Jomo, it's packed D tackle. He might actually be inactive as well, or practice squad, but I don't think they're going to cut him. I don't think they're high on the guy since he was like 4th, 5th round value. Other key additions, Marcus Mariota fits to T at backup quarterback, more so than Gardner Minshew did last year. And he'll be, if he has to play, he's like a carbon copy of Hurts, actually a little faster. But we'll see if he can be better on his deep ball accuracy. Rashard Penny, good guy to have in a rotation, but can he stay healthy? DeAndre Swift, a little bit less serious on the health issue, but he's slated to be our pass catching back, or one of them, alongside Kenneth Gainwell, but he can have a great impact, and something we didn't do last year. Olamide Zaccheaus, he's going to fight with Quez Watkins for the starting slot receiver job, but they're gonna give Quez every chance to win that job. But even if he doesn't win it, maybe he can play somewhat of a hybrid role. Maybe not quite a Zach Pascal role, doing some of the dirty work, but we can do 4 receiver sets, and in an event that Quez gets hurt, he can step in, and he's more built for the slot. Nicholas Morrow, is he going to be the starter, or is Christian Ellis going to be? He's on a $1 million contract, and we don't really count on linebackers to do much. Greedy Williams, he could play a pivotal role, or he could just be a reserve guy, but he could play a key role in being in insurance policy, in case James Bradbury or I can't think of his name right now. Big play Slay goes down. Sorry. And Terrell Edmonds, like I said, coming in, he could be a starter. I don't see him not making the starting roster with his level of experience, and he can actually be a great source of knowledge, right? Being the elder statesman in this safety room, in that D-back room, one of them, and him playing behind a great set of corners. All right, departures, Miles Sanders. Hurts to see him go, but this platoon will be better than him, and he was too apt to go east and west at times last year, and down the stretch he didn't look to be at 100%. As I said, Malo, a great loss on the O-line, but that being said, we have 4 guys that were either all pro bowler or Pro Bowl alternate, so it'll be easier to replace him, even though he'll be a great loss. Javon Hargrave, like I said, he's a big loss, but maybe addition by subtraction. TJ Edwards, our tackle leader, one of the number 5 or number 6 rated off the ball linebackers, highly underrated, but I believe Nakobe Dean is ready to ascend. Kazir White, solid play. He got fudged by Jonathan Gannon in the scheme last year, but that being said, he's still he was valuable. So we'll see if Morrow or Ellis can fill his role as well. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, we're gonna miss the picks, but we don't need stellar play at safety. We just need solid. And Marcus Epps, he was steady, but Reed Blankenship showed that he can make up for what Marcus provided, and maybe even excel better than he did. All right, 2023 roadmap. So 3 key dates. Definitely at Kansas City. We're testing our mettle up here against the Kansas City Chiefs, going to their home and their dome, and hopefully it's an equal playing field. If it is, actually, I do like our chances to come out and win this one, and at the very least to battle them, and we'll see. But who cares about being a Super Bowl rematch? I just want to get in there and prove what we're made of. The 49ers coming to us this year, kind of like they did last year. I don't know who their quarterback's going to be, so until we even find out how that is or how that's going to go, I can't say that they're not a threat. I mean, they're a solid team, especially their defense is one of the best in the league. That being said, I'm not afraid to step into the plate and challenge them. The Giants, I'd put the Redskins, just because they beat us last year. But the Giants, they have yet to prove that they're a cut above. And was a year lucky last year, and it's certainly going to have a tougher path this year. So, it's not like I'm overlooking them, but I don't see them as a great concern. So, all right, will the Eagles be able to keep the ball rolling offense? I think that's going to be, we can wake up out of our sleep and go out there and ball on offense. And we're going to, with the additions that we're going to make by way of strategy, play calling, and focus. Yeah, we'll be scheduled to be a behemoth. Avoid the Super Bowl hangover. I think we can do that. People make so much about history with Jalen as our leader, and the veterans that we have in place, and the guys, being so hungry. I'm not concerned about relapse or complacency. I think just adversity, and I think last year we showed that we can get on a good roll. I would say more so if we face adversity and see how we bounce back will be the test, since we didn't have to do too much of that last year as far as bouncing back from losses and such. But even we did, but they just want to credit with, us, we battled back, and they just saw it as a given. But that being said, I think that we will, for me, the floor is like 11 wins. I don't see us not winning any more than that. And then I would say, like 13 would be the cap. I think we could win 13 games, with 12 being the good medium. But anyways, we'll see. One more bit of news: DeAndre Hopkins apparently has settled. He's going to sign. He's set to sign a 2-year deal with the Tennessee Titans. He's going to get potentially $32 million, with $18 million per season, but he's set to get $13 million, $26 million over 2 seasons. He obviously signed, where he would get the most money, and that was a priority for him. And it's not like the Tennessee Titans are trash. They actually filled a pretty decent offense with, running back. They have Derrick Henry, King Henry, Treylon Burks, their first-round pick from last year, settling into the number 2 role, and DeAndre Options. Hopkins stepping into the number 1 role as the number 1 receiver and the top option. Gives him a great chance to be productive. Goes to where, he's a solid quarterback, a decent quarterback. Between average and above average, depends on what guy shows up with. Ryan Tannehill has the Tannehill magic run his course. We'll see. It could be tough going if he doesn't, isn't able to consistently produce with DeAndre in that offense. And he has no excuses, with the weapons, but with a good tight end, and I forget his name, starts with O. But he's a talented guy as well. He was growing last year, but we'll see how that goes. But anyways, long ass video, I'm back. But anyways, you're not even watching though. But it's all good, because as always, it's fly, Eagles, fly, and let's motherfucking go. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you want. Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.